I bought a mic for this, and then as I was I was trying to like adjust it, and I just snapped the power supply.
Oh
So
no.
I'm like,
Too much, Jim.
gosh, gosh, dang it.
You don't know
And
your own
then
strength.
Hello, my friends.
Thank you for joining us for the PEBCAK Podcast, a weekly information security show featuring some all-around good people. It is week 21 of 2026. I'm Chris Louie, and my yard is finally done just in time for summer. With me, we have my co-host Duke Silver, who accidentally invested in anthropic instead of anthropic.
Once again, fake news from the world's largest trash talker, Chris Louie. But yeah, how is that new backyard of yours? I can see you're not broadcasting from there right now.
Not yet. I'm not like Cody. I'm gotta get my outdoor setup done. I don't even have any like furniture or anything back there yet.
You gonna do like pergola or whatever it is? Pergola?
No, not pergola. I think we're do patio furniture, outdoor kitchen, and then maybe get some like portable umbrellas, I think.
Did you run power and water and gas to the portable kitchen or no?
Water, yes. Power, no power, but I ran the conduit, so that's at least buried already. So if I want power,
you're ready.
It'll be trivial.
You're ready to party, buddy.
Yep. You all are invited.
Okay.
Sweet.
Let's do it.
And we do not have Glenn Medina, who is about a week behind on the group chat. We still know he is alive, though, so he is checking in periodically.
I feel like, yeah, what's going on? This, is it family? Is it work? Is it, you know what I mean? Like, why is he so busy? Jeez. Putting out fires.
He'll literally respond to something from like a week ago, and we're like, wait, we have no context of what you're talking about. Like, I can't remember what we talked about yesterday, much less last week.
The group chat disappears every 24 hours. Thank you for chiming in.
Our guest this week is the returning Cody Anderson, owner and operator of our sole sponsor, Simple Six, Eat Fast Food and Lose Weight. Welcome back, Cody.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I've eaten lots of fast food since last time we talked, so happy to be back.
There it is, my guy.
And lighter. Even though I've eaten a lot of fast food, I am lighter than the last time we talked. So,
bro, when are you gonna stop?
Sponsor shout out. I'm pretty much done now. I've lost all my weight. I'm officially in maintenance mode. So
okay.
So now I can eat more fast food each time I eat it. It's great. It's a good life.
It is a good life.
That's what they always say. They said losing the weight is easy. Like I could just not eat for 4 days and I'll lose a ton of weight. It's keeping it off. That's the hard part. So I think that's that recurring revenue. Just because you've lost all the weight, now you have to, like you said, put yourself in maintenance mode and not gain it all back.
For sure.
What is your vice outside of crappy fast food? Where do you actually lose it? Is it nachos? Midnight nachos?
Dude, that's so fun. While you say that, I literally threw down some nachos last night. It's normally not nachos, but when Brian's not spying on me, I gotta check my camera feeds here, but must have been hacked.
Zero trust, baby.
Man, probably ice cream for sure, Ben and Jerry's. So
which one?
My wife and I. Oh, my wife's a Cherry Garcia, and then I'm I rotate, so normally something with some chocolate in it, though.
You like that fish food one?
I do like fish food. Yeah, it's so weird. It's disgusting, but I love it.
Yeah, pretty much. We used to. So back in the day, my wife and I would actually have like a code word. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. So our kids didn't know that I was gonna sneak out and buy Ben and Jerry's. But 2 Ben and Jerry's from the gas station cost $12.34, and I memorized that because of how often we were doing it. This is while she was pregnant, but with our third. But so we had that down. I had the gas station trips. I'd sneak out and then sneak it into the freezer. So when the kids went to bed, we'd throw down.
The gas station attendant. Oh, welcome back, Mr. Anderson. Your usual, sir.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's
actually really funny. Is it still $12.34? I bet you it's a little bit higher.
No, that was before a lot of the inflation.
It's like $20.
It's probably $15-$20 now. But in the good old days, we could eat 2 Ben and Jerry's for $12. So.
Yeah,
Man,
Dude,
the
that's
good old
insane.
days we
That
could
no,
eat a pint of ice cream and not gain weight. Like, I miss that metabolism.
that's like 1,000 calories, like a pint of Ben and Jerry's, isn't it? Or no?
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
sure
I
it
think
is.
it's depending on the one, it's like 1,000 to 1,200, I think.
So you would, each of you would, like, you would share? No, you're buying two. So one for her, one for
I
you.
mean, yeah, my wife didn't eat the whole thing. Like she's the pregnant one. She wouldn't eat the whole thing. Hers would last a few days. I would
Oh,
eat the
okay.
whole pint though.
You're a
He
man.
wanted to gain that sympathy weight with her.
Yeah. I
He's a
knew
good
one day I would
husband.
start a weight loss app, so I needed the weight. So
It was, yeah. I wonder if you could bill that as like R&D because you need some R&D for the before.
yeah. I
I will.
I did convince my accountant to say that all my fast food purchases are R&D. So that was a huge win.
Nice, nice.
I remember. I won't say who, but this person, she had gained 65 pounds, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like for pregnancy, I was like, "How much did the baby weigh?" She's like, "Oh, it was like 8 pounds 9 ounces." I was like, "That's a lot of weight unaccounted for, young lady." And
And
we are
that's
no
how the
longer.
fight started.
And we are no longer friends. Yep. Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
mine, we still have decades of information security experience, and here not just to educate, but to entertain. We got 4 awesome stories for this week, so sit back, relax, and buy SpaceX IPO stock.
Yeah. No kidding.
This week, we're going to talk about Apple snitching, the state of Bitcoin ATMs. For our third topic, coding doesn't need coders anymore, and close with obsolete technology talk. For our first topic, Brian, you've known me long enough after 255 plus episodes. What are my 2 favorite types of news stories?
K-pop and Taco Bell.
Yeah, one of them, right? So number 1, hacking the hackers. Number 2,
Oh, yeah.
stupid criminals. Love
Yeah.
stupid criminals. So the story is the latter of the 2. Got to start out with a shout out to the Kia boys with a Z. This week's story is straight out of Illinois, illustrating a perfect example of how the smallest digital breadcrumb can unravel an entire crime ring. A crew posing as food delivery people kicked in the door of an unsuspecting cryptocurrency hodler looking for a quick win by stealing this person's cryptocurrency. The victim escaped and the suspects all ran away. They fled in a stolen car. Sounds like your standard smash and grab until one of these future astronauts/scientists decides to pair his personal iPhone to the stolen vehicle's Bluetooth system. Guess you just got to have those tunes while you're driving around in a stolen car. Now, law enforcement recovered the Bluetooth MAC address from the stolen car, served Apple with a subpoena, and then were able to tie it directly to an iCloud account. That led them straight to the prime suspect and the rest of the group, which includes a Chicago area rapper with prior firearms charges. Definitely not Chief Keef. Surprising
Don't you
nobody,
mean
armed
Chief
robbery,
Queef?
and kidnapping.
Never mind.
Chief Keef.
Queef.
I don't want to talk too bad about him because that guy literally kills people. So no
Oh,
disrespect to Chief Keef out there.
I don't know. Does he really, or is it just a gimmick?
I think he does. I'm not going to take chances.
Okay, you wussy.
Apple's response was the usual no comment, but highlights something we talk about regularly on the show. Modern vehicles and consumer devices are constantly logging identifiers. If you ever pair your phone once, you're left with the persistent link between yourself and that car. Combine that with iCloud data, Find My data, or location history, and investigators have a very straightforward chain. I personally, I never pair my phone with a rental car, even if I can delete it later. I just don't trust it. Now,
So-
Apple famously will not unlock an iPhone or develop a backdoor as they respect user privacy far too much. However, when served with a lawful court order to identify the specific Bluetooth MAC address, Apple will comply, which I feel is a fair compromise.
I feel like Apple's about to have their handed to them with Mythos. So I'm going to find out a lot of backdoors in that OS that we didn't know about. And also a very bold move. Chief Keef over Kanye. He's from Chicago, right? I would have thought you would have picked that one. Although Kanye does have some questionable music as of late, so I guess I can see where you're coming
Yes,
from.
and I don't think Kanye has any firearms-related charges, which I'm guessing Chief Keef probably does.
Street rap. All right. Okay. Can you name one of his songs, Mister?
I cannot.
Ah.
I just know he's been accused of murdering people.
I know my son can actually. I think he actually likes that guy. So
Yeah.
yeah.
sure he's a good rapper.
So yeah,
I'm adding
great.
him to my gym playlist right now.
There you go. Yeah, very creative to pull the MAC address. I forget that those are unique.
Like it is unique, but it's also not, because I know that Apple has I forget what they call it. It's like synthetic or spoofed or rotating. It's same with like the Wi-Fi address, because it's like an anti-tracking mechanism. They don't want people to be able to identify you based off your Bluetooth MAC address. So maybe it's the difference between like broadcasting versus actually pairing.
Yeah, they call it private Wi-Fi address. And it can be off, fixed, or rotating. So it
Yeah.
gives you a dynamic Wi-Fi address or MAC address.
Yeah. I'm
Anyways,
looking at
good.
that setting now.
Yeah. Well, good for them. Way to stop them. Did they get
So
the crypto back? I didn't read the article.
I'm in my iPhone and Bluetooth, and it doesn't look like there's no setting here, because I know for like Wi-Fi, if you go into your iPhone Wi-Fi, I thought there was a setting that says
Go to the
user
network you're
rotating.
connected to. Like
Yeah,
hit
it
the
says
info
private
button.
Wi-Fi address. Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
fixed or rotating.
Yeah. Welcome to 30 Seconds Ago with Brian Deitch. Okay, good job, buddy. So quick pulse check. Does Cody know what a MAC address is?
No, not really.
All right.
I was thinking as you guys were talking about it, I was like starting to like I mean it's like I don't honestly know what it's used for. I'm trying to think. Why do you use a MAC address? Is it
Uh,
like an actual device identifier then?
so I'm not trying to pick on you here at all, but I could just see you slowly start to zone out. Like, oh god, not these guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
I always learn I learn something new every time on this show, so
Yeah.
now I know to not pair my phone when I steal a vehicle. So
yeah, very good advice. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
Sync
not
all
on
your
a stolen car.
contacts there as well. Yeah.
Call mom. Yeah, the MAC address it's a unique identifier, and it has to be unique on every basically wireless device. So anything Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. I don't know if infrared has it, but Ethernet cards all have it. Wi-Fi adapters have it, and it's registered too, because I think it's 8 octets. So it's 16 characters. The first 4 octets or the first 8 characters are the manufacturer, and then the last 8 octets are the unique identifier. So you plug in like the MAC address, they'll say, "Oh, this is an Intel Ethernet NIC," and then every device has a unique address. That's how the police were able to say, go to Apple and say, "I know this MAC address is used in a crime. Tell me who owns this MAC address." And then Apple says, "Oh, I know it belongs to not Chief Keef," and this is their device.
So you have
nice,
like
I definitely learned about that in college back in the day. So
yeah.
it's a good refresher.
It's almost like useless knowledge at this point, right? It's like an IP address and a subnet mask and your default gateway. Like no one really cares anymore. We just kind of take it for granted, especially in a 5G world.
And that's where I said that since it is unique, and with anything that's unique, it can be tied directly to you. Therefore, you can be tracked that way. So I for example, if I put in some like Bluetooth sniffers all over my city, I know Cody's MAC address, and I can tell where he's been throughout the city. So that's a way that people can track you. So Apple, being who they are, respecting user privacy, they said, well, we can start randomizing this MAC address. Like your hardware MAC address is burned physically into the device. That can never change. But the one that you actually broadcast out, that will rotate periodically, so that I can't track Cody throughout the city now, even if I have his MAC address.
Yeah, it changes every time you connect to a network, right?
Yeah, exactly. But somehow they were able to pull the actual MAC address. Either this feature wasn't turned on for this particular future scientist's iPhone, or when you actually connect to a device, it might give the real one instead of just broadcasting a random one.
By the way, when you think of like 8 octets, 16... No, it's not 16. Is it 16?
It's 16 hexadecimal characters, yeah.
That doesn't seem like much. And then you find out like, well, wait a second, there are 5 billion devices in the world that are basically IoT that are running a vulnerable piece of SSL stuff called Wolf SSL. Just that alone, 5 billion devices. Like, holy crap! Like that, even though it's only 8 octets and it's the 32 decimal, you know what I mean? Like that,
Yeah.
there's a infinite amount of space there for some reason to, I guess, have it permanently etched into every piece of firmware, and then we just throw them away. Computer's old,
Yep.
just toss it. Do we ever
Yeah.
reuse
Ends
them?
up in a landfill. I don't know what the reuse policy is. It's 16 to the power of 16. So I mean that's a lot of address space.
Dude, in the free BSD, one of the I guess it was a DDoS vulnerability that Mythos found. You had to do something with like the one of the SIM packets going 10 to the 31st, and it was just like it was
Yeah.
such a big number. People were like, "Oh yeah, we don't have to worry about
What
anything
about
beyond that."
collisions or anything,
Yeah,
right?
and so then like it's hard to even explain. But like Mythos is like, but what if it went out of bounds, right? Like this is something you wouldn't even think about, but it thought about it and found that DOS vulnerability. So pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old BSD. Were you ever a Linux guy, Cody?
Never. I tried when I first became like a software developer, but I just couldn't get over the UI compared to Mac,
Yeah.
compared to Apple.
And I think
Wow.
they've tried to close the gap because I specifically remember in college they had a, uh, well, I forgot it was computer science part or something. They had a program called Free Your Machine where you could bring your laptop in. They'll set up a Linux partition on it. So like, just try it before you buy it type of thing. I mean, you don't have to buy Linux, but don't format your hard drive and only use Linux. So I'm like, I'll give it a shot. And I think it was like Ubuntu. I don't remember what version it was, but yeah, like you said, it was fun to play with, but long term it was not usable.
Yeah, it's like being in college and hanging out with a 3, right? It's fun for the moment,
Something Brian's got experience with.
but
A lot,
me,
lot of 3 experience.
yeah. What was it? I think Shane Gillis. He says, "Me and Caitlin Clark have a lot of things in common. Both taking down 3s." I was like, all right, yeah.
Nice. Although the Linux distributions nowadays, I think they're a lot better, a lot easier to use, a lot more user friendly, better software compatibility. Because there's entire countries that are trying to move off Windows and moving on to Linux, and I think China did it. They're using not Red Star. I think Red Star is the North Korean one. Is it Kylon Linux? I think is the one that China eventually moved off of because they're necessarily they don't want to be tied to an American company.
Man, all I know is growing up, it was like, man, it's superior in every single way. And like, why? Well, it's free. And I was like, well, you kind of get what you pay for. I remember toting the whole open source Linux thing for years. And then eventually I was like, this kind of sucks, man. I can't really do anything easily. I wanna open up a video off of a DVD drive. How do you mount it? Jesus Christ! Why does this not like?
Or a USB drive, even a
Yeah.
flash drive.
Why is this so hard?
Drivers.
Yeah.
What's funny is we're going through the same thing now with like AI models, I feel like it's like our companies, we have, OpenAI, ChatGPT, we have
Hmm.
Claude with Anthropic, and then we have all these other people trying to do localized models, on their own machines and stuff for unlimited token usage. But I feel like it's that same feeling of Linux versus Mac versus Microsoft, verse and then we're experiencing it again, but Anthropic kind of feels like the Apple right now versus
Yeah,
the other customized ones, local LLMs feeling more like a Linux style.
yeah, yeah. It's only a right tool for the right job situation right now, and we'll see. I don't know if there's gonna be a clear winner, but I think there's always gonna be like specialized models for everything, and it'll be one company gets dominant market share, and everyone else will just use their own.
It's interesting though, because like AI is literally everywhere, but like 9 out of 10 of every customer I talk to, like the enterprise AI is Copilot with Microsoft. Period. Every once in a while, you might hear of OpenAI or Anthropic, and I'm just like, who's spending all the money with these guys? Because I know that they're retiring a ton of quota, but I don't know. Are just large enterprises? They're just like, oh, we got it in our ELA, so we'll just use Copilot. But it's kind of wild.
Hmm.
Chris, you froze. You look stupid. He's pretending.
No, it says my connection's unstable for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm hardwired in. All right, I think I got you guys back now.
Yeah.
I think you made some kind of comment about who uses Copilot. Well, only Microsoft 365 users use Copilot, just like Google Shops use Gemini. Although Gemini's gotten a lot better, I will say that.
But,
because
like,
in
not-
terms of
I'm-
from a frontier model.
No, you missed it because your internet sucks. But it was like literally 9 out of 10 customers all use Copilot. Very rarely do I hear. I've actually heard 0 customers use Gemini. 0. And I've 300 meetings this year on AI. Not one Gemini customer outside of like us, because we use it. We're Google Shop. But everyone else is on Copilot, man. Maybe it's just because I work with such large organizations. Something.
I think it's the whole bundling thing too. Like, who uses Teams? Like, Teams is an inferior product to Zoom. Like, just objectively, Teams is not a good product. But so many people use it because it's just bundled with my Office 365.
Yeah. When people get on a Zoom call, like, this is amazing. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, same with Gemini. I think that Google can fudge the numbers a little bit and say we have X 100 million Gemini users because every Google Workspace subscription went up $2 a month and they bundled Gemini into it. It's not like they say we have paid Gemini subscriptions that way. So they kind of juke the stats that way.
They're geniuses. Like the entire industry is as a whole. They're just like, we're gonna lose our ass, right? We're gonna get everyone addicted to AI like it's crack. Like there is no self-governing. You're just gonna use it for everything. You're gonna ask it what time it is. Like F Google, we don't need it anymore. And then you're just like, wait a second, this isn't profitable. Now we're gonna go token based and just start to rape and pillage every organization because there's just no way. Like, although I think Cody was telling me your budget per day, like you don't even come close to that, right? Or is it per month? I forget what the number was.
Yeah, I use Anthropic's, Claude Code, and they have a 5 hour, like a rolling 5 hour limit, and then I think they have a weekly limit on top of that, and maybe a monthly. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's at least like a rolling 5 hours. And on the $100 a month plan on other projects I'm doing, I hit the 5 hour limit, somewhat frequently when working on large features, but for just bug fixes and other things, I don't even get close to it most of the time.
Oh,
And inside of a larger corporate environment, sometimes you'll chew through more context, more tokens on like larger code bases, or across multiple code bases. Um, so I see more usage there, but then you run into other things like at large organizations, there's more outside of coding that you have to do to get your PRs approved, and I feel like you eat up so much time on all that stuff, so it kind of helps you reset that 5 hour clock. So but with everything going token based pricing, it's gonna change things quite significantly, because I might be hitting $100 on my plan, but once that goes token based, that would probably be like a few $1,000s. So like you're saying, it's gonna get brutal when the pricing switches fully.
Yeah, save it for topic 3, Brian.
We will.
All right, moving on. Let's get to our second topic before we get into the red meat here. For our second topic, the FBI's IC3 Internet Crime Complaint Center dropped a PSA on crypto kiosk scams, and the numbers are pretty brutal. The FBI, so when you think of FBI, this is the U.S. alone, 13,400 complaints in 2025, with losses topping $388 million, which is a 23% jump in complaints and 58% jump in losses from the year before. Unfortunately, more than half the victims were over 50, losing almost all of that, $300 million. And these scams are classic social engineering. Scammers sweet talk you online or on the phone, you get that random text message or that Facebook message or that WhatsApp message about some kind of investment or romance scam or some kind of fake emergency, and then they walk you through how to pull out cash from your bank, find the nearest Bitcoin ATM, and then scan that QR code, and then your money's gone. Now, this news comes as Canada prepares to ban all Bitcoin ATMs in the country, and states in the US, Tennessee and Indiana, have already completely banned Bitcoin ATMs. Bitcoin ATM vendor Bitcoin Depot also declared bankruptcy, citing stringent compliance obligations from states, increasing litigation, and tougher transaction limits. Now, is this government overreach or a much-needed step to fight fraud?
I just look at this, I'm like, ha, man, these old people are stupid. And then you're like over 50. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting close to 50. I'm going to be a victim soon, boys. Like, it's a matter of time. What the hell? Yeah, shoot. Definitely don't feel that old. That's for crazy. That's for sure. Yeah, it's definitely government overreach. Everything's government overreach. Can we just say that or no?
Yeah, I've been in Bitcoin a long time, like over 10 years. Like, not in its early stages, but man, like, to buy Bitcoin in 2012, it was like impossible. It was there. You had to jump through like so many hoops. There were no U.S. exchanges, and then finally, like, one website offered credit cards, and then you pay this giant transaction fee on top of it because they hold all the risk. And then when I heard that there's got to be these Bitcoin ATMs where any Joe Schmo can walk up to it, insert some cash, and get some Bitcoin, I said, "Oh, this is gonna be revolutionary. Like, anybody can be part of this digital revolution now." And then what happens? These scammers find a way to ruin everything.
Yeah. Makes you appreciate big banks more, and securing your money in the bank, which I never thought I would say, because I was on the same boat where it sounds awesome to have this digital currency, be able to transfer money super easily and all these things, but without the added protection. uh, yeah, it's crazy to see what's happening.
Yeah, it's like the crypto anarchists are like, yeah, no government, no middle person, no one to, because there is a history of people getting debanked, like, not legitimate reasons. Like, I don't agree with your political views, I'm gonna close your bank account. Like, this was a way. I think it was WikiLeaks was probably one of the first ones that Julian Assange published some negative articles about. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like the AP had some story, and then all of a sudden Visa and MasterCard are like, nope, no more WikiLeaks. And then they're like, well, PayPal? Nope, can't use PayPal. Well, and then like the only way Julian Assange could get money was through cryptocurrency, because no one can regulate that. And whether you like him or not, like, he has a right to his free speech, and these banks shouldn't control whether or not he can talk or not. And that's what this was supposed to help fix, but also it enabled a new class of scams, which is unfortunate.
It's the reason why I would say this is overreach. It's kind of like censorship on the internet, maybe for like the adult content. We're doing it for the kids, right? And then all of a sudden, other civil liberties kind of just dissipate. This is the same thing. I feel like big banks are like, they're threatened by crypto, right? And so what they do is like, no, we got to protect the elderly. Like, don't you want your grandma to still have her house? Not that she's the one dumb, right? But maybe. And so that they do this, they lobby and get their way. And then I never in a million years would have thought that freaking Bitcoin Depot that was charging insane fees was going to go bankrupt. Did not have that on my bingo card, guys. Leave it up to big government to take something fun and profitable and just bring it to a screeching halt in the name of safety.
I mean, I think part of the fear was money laundering, and so they put in decent KYC, know your customer controls. Like, I think you have to have a valid driver's license or state ID in order to do this, and there's limits and there's tax implications to all this. But even then, like, if you're putting your life savings into an ATM and sending it to Cambodia, like, no amount of KYC is going to save you. And it's also like, despite all of the warnings that they give you, because I think these crypto ATMs do have like a lot of warnings. This is, make sure this is not some unsolicited call. Don't send money because someone says you're going to go to jail, or don't send money just because someone says they kidnapped you, or some kind of fake emergency. Like, no matter what they do, part of social engineering is getting to somebody to do what they wouldn't normally do, and it is, oh yeah, don't worry about it, just click OK, just click yes. click through to that, and yeah, I don't know what the compromise here is to allow the freedom of cryptocurrency, but also protect these people from scams.
Kill them all. Let God sort them out.
I think with time in a capitalist environment, it sounds like an opportunity for more businesses to come in and help on the security side, right? And protecting these people with enough people experiencing, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of loss, right? There's a good opportunity there to provide a good value, right? Saving people's money. So
Yeah, and the FBI, the IC3, I think they said I can't remember the stat exactly, but they said if you report the loss within 48 hours, they have like a 70% chance of getting your money back. And this is for like wire fraud, not for crypto. But crypto it's fire and forget. Once it's gone, it's gone. And it's like, well, it's good that you have clawback mechanisms, but it's also bad to have clawback mechanisms. It depends how you look at it. Like if Brian is on the run, he's a political prisoner, and I send him money. Like I don't want somebody to be able to claw the money back if he really needs that. You take the bad with the good, unfortunately, and maybe people aren't ready for cryptocurrency. I mean, I definitely see its utility, but it is unfortunate that a lot of people have fallen for these scams.
instead of an age minimum, we just need like an age maximum. Like if you're above 50 years old, you're not allowed to
You're not
use
allowed to use
crypto.
it. Yeah, that'd be a good
You're not
compromise.
technology savvy enough.
Like,
Well, Bitcoin's come down a lot, guys. I've been paying attention here. My
I
portfolio
think it's
is,
back up. I think it's like 80.
bro, it was
Back up to 80.
122 at one point. Now it's
That's 76.
76.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
it dropped down to like 50 something. So from there, we're at like a 50% gain. Depending on your time horizon.
I know. Like if you look at like the lifetime, it's like Bitcoin is up 16,835% all time. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Satoshi is one rich person.
Time traveler, guys, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But apparently everyone on Reddit already thought of that. So
All right, for our third topic, Brian wanted me to introduce this topic for Cody, who has a unique perspective on coding, as Cody has written a lot of code in his lifetime. And with the advent of AI, he says things are completely changing. So, Cody, why don't you give us a state of programming and software engineering in the AI era?
Yeah, I was talking to Brian at the gym about, AI and seeing what's happening, specifically. Brian, what were you talking about? We were talking about like Anthropic having a bunch of code issues, right?
well,
A
yeah,
bunch of
just
bugs.
in general, like, does AI write great code, or does it just crap code out and then you are kind of left holding the bag around like performance and reliability, right? And so
Yeah.
and then that's when you're like, I don't even write code anymore. I'm like, pause, what? I don't understand. You're like a developer. And then the other part to it is like how much knowledge do you actually need to know around coding, or can you just be smart enough to write enough prompts you can get there?
Yeah. Uh, so first of all, yeah, I don't write any code anymore. Like I haven't written code for probably over 6 months now. So does AI write good code? It writes great code, right? Like uh, I mean, if you're writing, an algorithm or front end code, back end code, like pretty much across the chain, like it writes fantastic code. Um, so, but with that, I thought that would mean, junior developers suddenly become more valuable, right? And like um, and there's like anyone can write code, right? It's almost become less of that. Like it's become more like valuable to be a senior developer, in my opinion, because it's now about connecting. It's about having like a greater like strategic vision for the code base, like for what you're building, having like a bigger understanding of different systems, how they integrate with each other. So
It's like the
it's
old
less
role that
about,
they used to call software architects, right? Like
yeah.
connecting the dots. Like people are very good at building the dots, but you need an architect that can like connect the dots.
Yeah. So the bottleneck is totally moved. Like the bottleneck before was writing the code, right? Like you'd have these software companies with an idea, and then they would hire 50 to 100 software engineers to work on it, and there'd be five product managers in the whole company leading all those engineers. Now, as a software engineer, yeah, it's more of the architecture role. It's more of like the product role, right? As a software engineer, you need to understand the business outcomes that you're trying to achieve with whatever feature you're building. And so you kind of have to be more full stack by nature, because there's you're not really blocked anymore from like the coding. Like it's fast too, like it writes great code and it does it insanely fast, but your specs need to be right, and then you have to have good testing frameworks in place, and things like that. So the bottlenecks have kind of moved, and it's how it's honestly like with anyone being able to write code, it's like how good of taste do you have, right? Like how good of a product, and how well can you actually solve value for the end customer? And like that's like the new game that I feel like software engineers have to have, because the AI is fantastic.
It's part prompt engineering too. I would say it something that I heard it before and it really stuck with me. And it said like AI is never going to be. Well, I shouldn't say never. AI is a far away from being completely end to end. That it's more middle to middle. Like you have a human prompt it, give it some instructions. The AI writes beautiful code, and then a human has to implement it, because when you get AI implementing code into production, you get 14.7 incidents at AWS, or you get entire production databases deleted in 9 seconds. Like it's really good at the middle part, but you need humans at both ends to like bookend it.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And oh, go ahead, Brian.
and then say, so it's more important to be a senior, but then you don't be like you have a chicken before the egg situation, or you don't become a senior without becoming a junior. So what would your recommendation be for the entry level, the junior people that are coming in to figure out this hurdle, right? Like what do they actually start to focus in on? And then the second to that is the specs. I still feel like you guys remember that here, I'll share it real quick. Taking in what the customer wants versus what was promised to them versus whatever, right? Like you've seen this before,
Oh yeah,
correct? Yeah.
the comic, yeah,
It's the
the tree
tree.
swing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And all the
Yeah.
customer wanted was a rope swing with a tire on it, and then engineering all that stuff. I do feel like that part, as trivial it is or may seem, is some of the stuff we're gonna have to focus in on. I feel like that's where you still need to kind of know the fundamentals of programming. That way, when you say, "Hey, I want the rope swing," and then engineer has like a swing attached to the trunk and is just laying on the ground, that could be AI, right? And so you construct AI like, "Hey, this is how it actually looks," right? This is what I'm starting to do, and that goes back to Chris's thing, a little bit more around the prompt engineering of that, knowing specifically what to ask. And I say this, and the reason why I would even challenge you on that is that I am by far not an expert at all, and I will say that I know that this thing is archaic, but I do know that when I was working at F5 Networks, I had to write something called iRules. It was tickle based language, and like a lot of effort always went into like if I'm going to write something, I have to test it. I need to know how many CPU cycles it's going to take to do this, and what's the maximum number of throughput before I core the box and things like that. So I had written hundreds, if not thousands, of specific I rules of that. So I took a very basic one, and I was kind of curious. I'm like, is it going to write good code, great code, or crap code? And I submitted it, and it came back, and it was like, hey, this is what I would do, in this particular thing. I was like, all right, dipshit. Like, why are you logging in production? Like, nobody does that. Like, there's something as trivial as that. And then I think we went back four times before it basically came up with the same I roll, similar to like what I had written, right? And I was just like, that's the part that I don't know that if it has pure like context. And again, I am focusing on something very obscure that probably nobody uses anymore or has to worry about it. But I do think that that prompt engineering is going to be probably the thing. So going back to my first question to you, what do you recommend for the entry level and junior level people to jumpstart their career?
Yeah. So my recommendation for this hasn't actually changed at all. So, going back 10 years ago as a junior engineer versus today as a junior engineer, my recommendation is the same, and that's to build like full stack applications from scratch yourself, like a side project, like a business idea you have, whatever it is, build it from scratch so that you understand the 0 to 1 of something. You understand the architecture, what it takes to deploy a website, what it takes to get a mobile app on the app stores, all of that. So you're going to have full context, because otherwise, if you just understand basic coding principles, it's hard to understand how they fit into like the greater organization and product as a whole. So that the tools have obviously changed, right? It used to mean like you had to do all of the coding, and then you had to go click all of the buttons to host the website, and you had to understand servers and how to remote into them, all of that stuff. That's all changed. Now there's tools for all of that, but you have to understand how to like wield all those tools and use them efficiently. So building an app from scratch is like still, I think, the best thing you can do today. Obviously, now it's going to be AI for all of the coding, and AI, using Codex or Claude, whatever your model of choice is, even for some of the manual parts online, connecting MCP servers and doing things like that. So what used to be plug and play manually in the dashboards, you're having uh, the models walk through. So I think if you're starting out your career as a software engineer, that's what I would still do today is build from scratch.
And you
Full
got to learn the
stack, built
fundamentals
from
too.
scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, because like when even before all this AI stuff, and people are like, oh, how do I get into hacking? I want to be a hacker. The first thing you got to learn is like you got to learn the network stack. You got to learn the fundamentals of security, how software is built, how code's compiled. Like I know it's really boring, but you can't really get into security unless you know like these basic fundamentals. What's a MAC address? You got to know what a MAC address is if you want to be, dive deep into security. It's like learning the fundamentals. Yeah, AI can spit out a really good answer for you, but if you don't know how the TCP/IP stack works, then the answer's not going to make a ton of sense to you.
100%. Out
Exactly.
of
And then
curiosity,
oh yeah. I was gonna say
I,
I can answer the second part of your question too with the prompt engineering, because I do agree, prompting, is everything now, and having the correct context. That's kind of the job now, right? Is like, but taking that image of the tire swing, right? Like, um so that brings up, using AI on the design side as well. So like as a software engineer, you may or may not have designers, right? So if a feature comes to you, it may be your job to work with the AI to, spec a design. You could use like a Figma AI thing, or, a different AI tool, or you could do it. If you're a startup, you're probably doing design on the fly, right? So your job is to provide the context to get the correct design that you want. And AI, honestly, Claude's getting a lot better at that. Like if I say I want a tire swing, like it already understands like the context of what is a tire swing, and will most likely get it pretty accurate the first time now. But there's obviously things you can do, especially as your code base is evolving, and you have, let's say, you have certain rules that Claude needs to follow as part of your application. There's best practices now within software that didn't exist before. So before it was like, you might write some like self-documented like comments for like that are human readable for other developers. Now we have markdown files dedicated purely to the AI models, that they have like their sequence of steps that they go through. So it's like you need to understand like, hey, Claude first is going to look for a Claude MD file, like markdown file in your repository with rules for that repository to follow, or helpful things. Your code review process, your all of those things, like your test suites. Now there's markdown files that aren't necessarily for humans, they're for the AI models. So part of your job as a software engineer is, architecting around that so that it's getting the context more and more like or correct more often than not as your code base is evolving versus if you're not doing those best practices, it's gonna constantly you're gonna have to remind it of the context, the original context, and that's when you start seeing a lot of hallucinations and bad code get written.
I think something that was so hilarious that you tell me at the gym. You're just like, hey, I'm using, Claude to write code. And then it goes into the software review, and the person that's reviewing my code is using Claude to review it. And I know this because the comments are like a paragraph long on different things where it was just a sentence
Like a
before.
one liner.
Yeah. So
Some
this is
snarky comment.
what I would love to know. I think Claude Opus 4.7 is generally available, right? Is it
Yeah,
or is it
Yes.
four? Okay,
that's available. Yeah.
so until Mythos is available to you, I would love for you to run either Opus or GPT 5.4 Cyber against your code and find out that this amazing code that you've written, maybe even for Simple 6, if it has more holes than Swiss cheese in it. Like, did it actually write secure code, or is there some crap there? And I think that's going to be a very interesting telling story there.
Yeah, I could kick that off right now. Actually, I just had Claude. I took a screenshot of your tire swing and had Claude build it out on a page on Simple Six, and it. I'll share my screen here
Shut
and
the
show
hell
you
up.
guys.
That's
But
so
He already
it
did it.
finished it
He
finished
did
a
it.
while ago too. I'm not
He
gonna
did it on
lie.
the
So
podcast on the fly.
okay, so can you guys see my full
yeah, we
screen
can
if I
see
go
it.
over here?
Yeah.
All right. Let me. Um, So I use right here, I had Claude kick it off. I just gave it a screenshot and said it needs to be built in HTML. So if I go to slash image, there you go, what the customer wanted. This is all in HTML though, so kind of
It
fun.
just it didn't like just clip the image and throw it on there, did it? Or did it? Is that a
Let
net
me
new
see.
image?
Oh, it might have done that actually. There you go.
But
Uh,
then also to Cody's point is,
yeah,
That's
let's
there you
say
go.
hilarious.
the customer has to tell you like, I want a tire swing, but if the customer requirements aren't even clear, it's very possible the customer says, I want to swing from this tree, and then that's it, and then that's how you get like 18 different interpretations of that. So it's also on the part of gathering good requirements, and I think that's part of like what Brian said, entry level jobs or even experienced people, like gathering these requirements. What does a product manager do? Half their job is gathering the requirements. What's the user story behind it? What's the acceptance criteria? Like doing all those things. Like AI is not going to replace that. Like you have to have good inputs, like that garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Yep. Yeah, and
So
I actually didn't specify it had to be so it did, it wrote a page and used the image. So now I had to provide additional context saying, hey, you can't use the image. It has to be written in HTML, CSS. So we'll see how long it takes. My guess is not very long though. It's pretty good.
look at you spending tokens on us, baby. I did notice that you did have some Opus on there, right? You're running Opus 4.7. Is that what I saw?
Yeah, yeah. So I run Opus 4.7. I found they have a million context model as well. I found that one's not as efficient. So Opus 4.7 right now is kind of the sweet spot in coding for me.
Okay. Well,
But
then
yeah, I have
let's.
multiple Opus 4.7s going at the same time a lot of times. So
Well, on a slow day, ask it against Simple Six. Say, hey, find a vulnerability in my web app and see,
Buffer
like,
overrun.
or find multiple ones and see if you can find anything. That'd be fascinating to see what happens.
yeah, I'll kick that off right now and let you
Because
know.
technically, that all of Simple Six was all AI written, right?
Yeah, it started out not being, but yeah, it quickly shifted to being AI written. So
Nice.
um,
All right.
this is now our HTML generated. So HTML and CSS only for the
built
tree
it on
with
built
the
it on a
tire
palm
swing.
tree with chains. All
Render
right,
with inline
Yeah, there we go.
SVG, no raster
Yeah.
image.
So
and
I
that
this
realize
is
that.
yeah. So typically when I build a feature like this, right, I would actually kick off a planning session with Claude, and we would plan this out, and then with the outcome of generating I call it a mega prompt. I think that's kind of a familiar term, but generate a mega prompt. So this was like a one line, like, hey, copy this and use HTML and CSS. But I'll actually have a full conversation with Claude about this, and and we would get into the details of like what the tree branches need to look like, the details of the grass, the trunk, the tire swing, etc., right? To get to that level of granularity. And then with that mega prompt, which sometimes is like, I mean, it's more than I would ever type, if I'm being honest. And then when you kick it off with that, then it really goes through and checks all the boxes. And it could have like tests being written as part of it and everything. So what you would see is like a highly accurate version of what you wanted versus this is a good example of like when you've been lazy as a software engineer. And a lot of people will be lazy like I just was. And then they'll say, oh, see, AI writes a lot of bugs or AI
Hmm.
doesn't do what you want it to do. If AI is not doing what you want it to do today, it's because you're not good enough at your job yet, in my
Garbage in,
opinion.
garbage out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
So
like
yeah,
the thing at the bottom. It says no raster image. Like when I built my personal homepage at chrislouis.com, like I fed it my resume, I fed it my LinkedIn, and it put my email address and my location on the page. And I said, "Hey Claude, I'm a very private person. Don't put this on there." And then what did it do? At the very bottom of the page, it says location, email address hidden for privacy reasons. Like you could have just removed it. You didn't have to say that I told you to remove it.
That's awesome. Yeah. I don't know what its obsession is with the EM dashes too. It's like
Yeah.
the double dash thing. Like, dude, it's like it drives me nuts. I see those posted all over LinkedIn and stuff. So in a way, it's nice to like scream at at people like this was using AI, but I don't
yeah,
know what its obsession is with those.
it's a red flag, right? It's like dating someone from
I
China.
put
That's
that
a
in
big
my
red flag.
instructions. I said don't use EM dashes because like this is a dead giveaway. I just put in
I
my
do that
project
too.
instructions. Yeah,
So
like
on
Yep.
the
easy enough.
so the number one way that I can fundamentally always cause a hallucination is I don't know if mega prompt is the way to do it, but if I have a very long conversation with AI, that's when I will start to get some wacky answers the longer that we have that conversation going. So as like I don't know if you're just writing one big prompt or a bunch of little ones, but towards the end I'm like, dude, I I end up just having to close the window and start it over because like you're just giving me dog shit. Like I can't use any of this information at all.
Yeah, this is where like marked like if you're in the context, are you speaking in the context of like a chat session or something with
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's a good point. I know like they'll start to like save memories and things like that, but this is where I find myself because I'm so familiar with like the Claude Code environment that I'll almost kind of do more I'll use Claude Code even for chat sessions now because I can structure markdown files and things like that because it's all about the context that you're providing it. And so by providing a markdown file with some of those rules or like important context pieces. Now, as you're conversing with it in a fresh chat session, it has what's important from previous sessions saved and kind of like, memorized at that point for your current
Uh,
conversation.
so going back to my statement at the gym, and I think even right here, I do think fundamentally you need to know what the hell is actually going on, right? Like if you don't understand what a markdown file is, then you're going to spend time in cycles trying to figure that out. So I do think there is a fundamental benefit of understanding how to write code. And I think that the better you are at understanding how to do that, the better you are at coding, then the better you are going to be at using AI to help you write it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it depends on what you determine. What is coding? Like, are we saying like if you know how to write an if statement or a switch statement and those things? Because those I find I almost don't need to know anymore. But yes, how to like provide AI with context through markdown files and things like that are super important. So,
Yeah.
um, what is coding? What is coding anymore? I don't know.
Yeah. I
All
would
right, we
say
better wrap this
again,
up.
oh yeah,
We're
I
out
got to
of
go
time
too.
here. All right. Well, we continue to get great comments about our dad joke of the week.
Dad joke of the week.
This week, our guest Cody is up.
Oh, guys, I failed. I didn't bring one.
Oh, Chris always has one in the chamber, so we're covered.
Oh man, getting put on the spot. What's a monkey's favorite type of cookie?
Bananas. I don't know. This is stupid. Why would we do this?
Chocolate chimp.
Okay.
All right, to wrap things up, actually, I had a really good conversation. We'll have to continue this conversation on another podcast. I left this one till story 3, and we ran out of time. But happy to continue this conversation another time. Don't connect your phone to a stolen car. Bitcoin ATMs meant well, but got hijacked by scammers, and learn to code. That's all I have for this week. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Find us on LinkedIn. Links will be in the description. Follow us on Instagram at PEBCAK Podcast. Thank our listeners and subscribers who raised 5 stars to the iTunes Store and Spotify and left us a review. We appreciate you all spreading the word to help grow the show. The best way to find us is search for the PEBCAK Podcast on your favorite podcast listening app. My co-host Brian Deach and our guest Cody Anderson. I'm Chris Louie. Thanks for listening. We'll see you all next weekend. As always, have a nice day.
Bye, Felicia. And stop.
Have a nice day.